Good afternoon, all of you, and welcome to the interactive session come discussion on shipping cargo manifest and transshipment regulations. As per the notice of CBIC dated 30th September, it has been directed that the SCMT regulation will be implemented on 1st of April 2021. This SCMT, in fact, has superseded import manifest regulation of 1971, export manifest regulation of 1976, and transportation of goods to foreign land regulation of 1976. And thus, it is applicable to all kinds of cargo to be discharged, loaded, and transshipped at any Indian port, and also for cargo which is transiting via any Indian port. The key highlights of this new revised regulation specifies that it is compulsory and mandatory for the shipping line importer, exporter, and other custodians of cargo to comply with the regulation by strictly adhering to the defined timeline of filing of all cargo arriving and departing through any kind of Indian ports. So this particularly forms the basis of organizing this session. And in order to enrich our members, the implication it is going to have on trade, this session has been organized. I hereby take the opportunity of inviting our panelists from Odex India Solutions Private Limited and also from CSLA. From Odex Solutions, I welcome Ms. Liji Noval, Managing Director, Odex India Solutions Private Limited, Mr. Kumar Gaurav, and Mr. Swapnil Chavan from AVP, Odex India Solutions Private Limited. From CSLA side, Mr. Manish Kumar will also be joining the session shortly. From FIO, I welcome Mr. T.S. Aluwalia, who is the convener Ports and Logistics Committee FIO, and also the Managing Committee member of FIO. So with this, I would now like to invite Mr. T.S. Aluwalia for his welcome address, please. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Manisha. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. So, good afternoon to the participants in India. And since I am in Toronto, Canada, it is good morning from the Canada. I would like to welcome Lizzie Noble from Odex, Kumar Gaurav, Swapnil Chauhan from CMT, Manish Kumar from CSLA, who is going to join shortly, all the friends from the trade. This is a very important webinar for the exporters as well as the importers for complete foreign trade. The webinar is on the subject Sea Cargo Manifest and Transshipment Regulation, which is in short called SCMT. We are conducting this program with the help of and the cooperation of the Odex India. It is an initiative of CBIC and going to be implemented from the 1st April this year. Manisha has already given some feedback on this. It is compulsory and mandatory for all the import, exports, transshipment from Indian ports, and it is all on the digital platform. So all the stakeholders has to register themselves with the SCMT. Earlier, this data was earlier provided by the shipping lines, and any mistake, any error, the shipping lines were responsible, which now the responsibility is shifted to the stakeholder entering the data. To best of my knowledge, this data has to be entered well in time, like for import, before the departure of the vessel from the last port. Suppose the vessel is coming via Dubai and last port called is the Dubai, and it will reach to Mundra or Mumbai in 3 days. So the data has to be entered 3 days before leaving the vessel from that port. And for exports, I have little confusion. It is 6 hours, 24 hours, and whatever I think the people can give more clarification. And besides that, I would like to, lot of my exporter friends are interested what is happening with our exports. The situation is like that they can export more, but there's a shortage of container, there's a shortage of vessels. The sea freight is has gone up from 100 to 400%, and I don't see any drastic fall in the sea freight in the coming months. It is going to be continue, and before the rates applicable before lockdown may not come in next 2 years. So we have to pay the higher sea freights. This is the demand and supply situation. Various governments have tried to interfere, like China, US, but nothing has happened because it is a matter of the demand and supply. This all is going to lead, increase in the raw material prices, the input prices. The exporters' inputs are getting expensive. Besides that, the government has not given any relief in the diesel prices, which is the fuel for the domestic truck freight movements, which has gone up by 15-20%. FTP still awaited. MES ended up in December, but road tap rates are not announced. So we have all the guesswork to keep our product competitive. The good thing is that Container Corporation is giving 50% discount on the empty container movement from the ports to hinterland. So we are expecting this year our export will remain somewhere around $290 billion, which will be 20-25 billion lower than the last year. But we have made significant recoveries in the last quarters, and this quarter it will be the highest recovery. The economy, as you know, the forecasted by the government also, it is admitted that there will be a drop of 8% in the economy, and similar drops are there in the international economy. So the demand actually is not rising. The demand of few products, those are pharmaceutical, those are hygiene or food products. Some countries are looking now, looking into the food safety, food security kind of systems. So they want extra inventories. So the vacuum which was there for first 6 months in the 2020, it is every day, load of inventories in the third and fourth quarter of the calendar year, last calendar year. So that has to be managed. But the situation in Europe and US is not normal. There is vessels I have seen, you might have also seen videos where the vessels are waiting in the sea to enter into the port, but there is a waiting time for 1 to 2 weeks. So when the vessels cannot, follow the schedules, the movement takes more time. There are more inventory, what we call is a floating inventory in the high seas, and some inventories at the ports. So this total inventory is higher. If this inventory will be consumed, the things can come normal. But as we are seeing second wave in India, and there is a wave in the Europe, there is a wave in US. So let the things to be settled down, and we hope the next financial year we shall be able to may touch about $350 billion exports. So thank you very much. This is all from me, Manisha. Please carry on.
Thank you for your address, sir. I would now like to invite Ms. Liji Noval for her address, please. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Manisha. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning, Ahluwalia, sir. Thank you for taking the time to join us very early in the morning. And that really shows how important this topic is for the trade as a whole. I also wanted to congratulate FIO on your new initiative of the new e-module that you have launched for checking the status of the container and availability of the containers, especially when you have been talking about how difficult it has been today in today's times to get a container for stuffing for exports. So that's a great initiative. It's been a pleasure to be associated with FIO because it is probably the one organization that I have seen that's so actively promoting education amongst its members and launching new initiatives. I mean, I see something happening in FIO almost every week, and it's an honor to be associated with FIO.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Manisha. We are definitely missing Prashant sir also today. Been a great support apart from Ahluwalia sir here. Yeah, so one of the things we had done a seminar on SCMTR some time back, but we along with FIO thought that it is a good time to hold a refresher because 1st of April, we are looking at a situation where CBIC is going to make the new Sea Cargo Manifest and Transshipment Regulation live. One of the things as a technology solution provider, we have seen across the industry is the readiness of the industry is not there as of now, and we are probably just 10 days or 12 days away from the time that SCMT goes live, and we thought it's a good time to reach out to the industry and explain what is going to be the changes that we can see in manifestation, how can we handle it, and how can, of course, ODEX assist in that. But our primary focus today is not just to speak about what we can do as a platform, but more importantly, to focus on what changes can be expected and how can you ensure that you're compliant with the new changes that are coming in. Of course, we are also excited with SCMT because it brings us that much more closer to certain standards that have been followed globally for some time now, and where India has been lagging behind. So for all of us, it is also a good opportunity to catch up with global standards on manifestation and compliances. So I have a very competent team from ODEX here that has been explaining SCMT as a concept and also the implementation at the level of every organization. So I have Kumar and Swapnil here from my team. I would like to hand it over to them, Manisha, with your consent, to be able to kick off the presentation. We are very happy to take questions at the end of it. If there are any questions, please put it on the chat so that we can answer. Either one of the panelists will answer, and if we don't have the answer, we will definitely get back to you with answers on it by checking up with the relevant authorities. Thank you so much, Manisha. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your address. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Kumar Gaurav and Mr. Swapnil Chaman for a presentation on SCMT regulations. Over to both of you, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Swapnil. So we will now start with the SCMT presentation. Let me just share my screen with you.
Yeah.
I hope my screen is visible now.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, fine. So we will start with the today's presentation. Okay, before starting this presentation, as ma'am rightly said that we need to understand first the SCMTR. It's kind of a new subject, so we want to take it in a manner where we will first understand the concept, and the concept also into three basic aspects. What is SCMTR? Okay, where actually it is getting implemented, and how the data will flow under this SCMTR. So basically a 5W1H concept, which we would like to refresh once again, and what, when, why, where, and how. Okay, so this is something which we would like to clear in this today's presentation, along with the necessary changes as compared to the existing manifestation purpose. Okay. So basically, before going to the SCMTR, we will like to first introduce about the ODEX briefly, that how ODEX is going to assist the trade, especially the exporters or the custom brokers or agents of the exporters. So to understand what ODEX is, we are the web-based platform, especially concentrating on the shipping and logistics, payments and document solutions. We do have 100 plus shipping lines and NVCC working with us. And then we have 10 plus port terminals, 4,500 plus freight forwarders, and 7,500 plus custom brokers. These are something which is very regularly they are using our platforms on day-to-day transactions, whether it is exports or import models. They are using it on a day-to-day basis. We also have this Hopeless online trade platform, 600 plus Weybridges, which is very well connected, and the data is getting auto transmitted from the Weybridges, especially in purpose of VGM and Form 13 model. We do have 70 plus banks and lenders which assist the payment solutions which we provide in both the segments, import as well as exports, especially from the all the stakeholders point of view. Suppose the exporter wants to make a payment to either shipping line or CFS or terminals, we assist them by providing this integration facilities with the 70 plus banks and lenders. And we do have registered 15,000 plus exporters and importers in our system. And along all with this, we released or managed 70,000 plus documents, including exports and import segment. This is what is the brief ecosystem of ODEX to understand. We have a presence in not only in India, but majorly also we have a strong presence in Middle East, along with Qatar, Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain. We do have the West Africa presence also in Ghana, and very soon we are also launching in Nigeria region as well. So this is about the geographical presence of our system. Just to before starting or going to the SCMTR concept, we would like to make you understand that what is the current solutions from the exporters point of view we are providing onto this platform, which will be very useful for you in a day-to-day operations. Either you yourself as an exporter or your agent or the custom broker can use these services on your behalf. So first one is the container release order. As ma'am rightly said in the initial discussion, that this is something which we can think of from the FIO perspective also, whether this module of ours can be integrated and will be useful or available for the entire FIO members in coming futures. Currently this is available on our platform, where the we can inform cargo owners for container pickup for export stuffing, and we can manage the inventories at empty yard also. So this is something which is container release order. The second is the shipping bill model. The online e-shipping bill model is also available, and which is very well used by the trade members, along with this export manifest, invoicing and payments, Weybridge GDI, and VGM. So basically, to split this export modules into the two sites, one is the documentation sites, which is managed with the shipping bill, export manifest, container release order, and the another one is the payment side, where we are managing the invoices and payments to the, as I said, the shipping lines, CFSs, and the terminals. But currently we are only focusing on the export segment, that payment to the shipping line and is already available. Same thing as we are managing and already live with the two existing models, which is VGM and Form 13. So just wanted to make you something which is very important from the exporter's point of view, that in the VGM we have done the backward integration with the Weybridges, so the data can be automatically pulled from the source of origin, and it is online submitted to the shipping lines or the carriers or NVSCs through the applications, and it is forwardly integrated with the Form 13 or the gate pass, whichever is required as per the respective port or terminals. So backward integration, online submission, and the forward integration, these are certain unique features which we provide from the exporter's point of view for VGM and Form 13 model. So this is something from the export solutions. Those who are already into import business also, so we do have a lot of import solutions also available, majorly focusing on the documentation and payment aspects. We do also have the manifestation and CAN, which is cargo arrival notice module with us, and which is already getting used by the most of the trade members. So currently the IGM module is getting used, and house BL submission modules for the manifestation purpose is also getting used. So after that, we do have the invoicing, payment, and delivery order. So as I said, invoicing, delivery order, and payment, specifically not only from the shipping lines and the NVCC point of view, but we do also have these payment solutions for the CFSs and the terminal point of view also. So we do accepts and started the solutions for entire trade for the payment perspective. As you can see, the last option is the terminal payment. So we have started the payment solutions for the terminal solutions and the brief introduction about products that we provide for the entire trade or the industry, which is also available for not only for the direct cargo owners, but also for their custom brokers or agents.
Swapnil, sorry to cut you short. I think you missed one or two lines in between.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was explaining that this is the entire solutions which as a Codex we provides in export and import solution for trade. So the exporters or their custom brokers or agent can avail these solutions on in order to simplify their day-to-day operations with respect to the documentation and payment perspective. Now moving on to the today's topic of the SCMTR. Okay, so how we will assist, or basically rather than we assisting you, we want to first make you sure that we will first clear what is SCMTR is. So as the SCMTR stands for Sea Cargo Manifestation and Transshipment Regulation. So the major change, we need to understand what is the major change which will impact our day-to-day working style. Earlier, in case of import, the manifest is getting filed once the vessel comes into the Indian territory. But now, as per the SCMTR, the manifestation in case of import, as rightly said in the initial discussion, has to be there. The manifestation has to be there before the vessel departs from last foreign port of call. So in import, I'm repeating myself that the manifestation should be done prior vessel depart from the last foreign port of call. So this is going to be a major game changer in the industry, where not only from the operational perspective or the documentation perspective, but the timeline in order to provide all the documentation or the data field to the each stakeholder will also get impacted. Okay, so this is something which is very important. Similarly for export also, this VL information should be ready before vessel departure. Now every stakeholders, not only from the exporters point of view, but their brokers or agent, if the exporters are sending their data to the respective agents to file on their behalf, they should be very well aware about this specific definition or the major in this whole SCMTR. That timeline is a very crucial factor. So this is the brief understanding on the SCMTR. Now, as I said, Indian Customs have simplified, or you can say classified, these all industry stakeholders into 6 major types of customers, or you can say entities. First, who is the main main stakeholder who is going to file the SAM, or the you can say SDM. Now, what is SAM, what is SDM? I will explain it in a very short time. So first, understand the stakeholders. First is the carriers or the shipping lines vessel agents. They have mentioned, the customs have mentioned this category as ASC or ASA. Now, this is what is authorized sea carrier or authorized sea agent. Now, what is their role in this entire SCMTR is they are responsible for filing SAM, SAA, SDM, SDA, SDN, and CSN. Now, what is this? Understand the terminologies, because it is very important. Currently, the word IGM, Import General Manifest, is going to replace with the word SAM, which is Sea Arrival Manifest. Okay, and EGM, the Export General Manifest, is getting replaced with the terminology or the message called SDM. The message will be now read as Sea Departure Manifest. So the IGM will be referred as SAM, Sea Arrival Manifest, and EGM will be referred as Sea Departure Manifest, SDM. Now, what is SAA is the Sea Arrival Amendment, and similarly the SDA, Sea Departure Amendment. These are certain messages which is required to be submitted by the carriers, or the now we will refer them as a ASC or ASA. Okay. Similarly, the sea departure notification and cargo summary notification, which we'll explain in the further presentation. The second important entity which they have classified is our forwarders or NUCC consolidators. They have put it all these forwarders, NUCC and consolidators into one bracket and named them as a ANC, authorized another notified carrier. Now, what is their role? Their major role is the CSN. See, now we are explaining you on this 5W1H concept, because what is the role? Stakeholders is going to be filed by the stakeholder. We are going to explain now. The third stakeholder is the IC holder. Most of our members who are present in this webinar, who is the IC holder, or we can refer them as a BCO. What is or their custom brokers? What is the message which is required from them? Is the authorized e-seal shipper will have to do the two messages. If one is e-seal submission in case of export, but there is another one which is going to be explained in the further presentation, is CIM, which is the Customs Inland Manifest. So these are the two messages which is required from the AES entity. The fourth one is the railways, truckers, coastal vessel operators. They have put it as an authorized carrier or transshipper. And the messages required from these stakeholders is CIM, arrival, Customs Inland Manifest, arrival manifest and departure manifest in their respective category. The next one is the custodians, which we referred as the ICD and CFSs, and the below are the messages. See, the messages are explained in this current slide is the short form, but respective stakeholders can contact us whenever they have respect to their query. We will make sure that we will go through the entire process with them. So this slide is only explaining from the short terminologies, and we have tried to cover all the stakeholders in one slide, just to give you an idea that how the stakeholders are classified under SCMTR. And the last one is the port terminals, which is authorized terminal operator, and the below are their messages. So with respect to the today's agenda, these are all stakeholders, but we will try to focus on basically three important stakeholders, which is the custom brokers or the exporters or importers, and the second one is the freight forwarder or the NUCC. So we will come to that slide after completing this key highlights for exports, because a majority of our audience is from the export segment. So see, this is basically classification between the custom brokers or exporters, what they wanted to understand from the SCMTR changes. Now, if you see the first one, custom brokers or exporters, they should be submit the shipping bill of files e-seal if factory step containers are there. What they are also need to understand that submit SI to carrier or consolidator by quoting PCIN or shipping bill number standards. Now, make sure what Indian customs are saying that the shipping bill number should be the PCIN number, but as of now, if you ask the today's scenarios, they have not yet started issuing the PCIN number. Maybe the latest update which we have received from our internal product team, which whatever we are receiving from them, we are communicating to you. But this is what is going to be there, that every shipping bill number should be linked with the PCN number. Now the third point is the CSN number. Now what is the CSN? Which is cargo summary notification. That is something should be filed by the carrier or the consolidator or in UCC or the for forwarder also. We will come to that to specific segments into the next slide. Now understand, there are two aspects also. One is for the registered users under SCMTR, and another one is the unregistered users. Now you as a BCO or the exporter can also register yourself, or your agent, custom broker or freight forwarders can be registered with the SCMTR or can not be registered with the SCMTR. So both options are available on ODEX also. You can, if you are unregistered user, you can actually submit your HBL details to carrier through ODEX, okay, or NUSCC or consolidated through whomever is concerned. And for registered user also, we have given one step ahead solution, that not only you have a provision to submit the house bill details to the carrier so that they can file on your behalf, but if you want to generate your own file as per the SCMTR requirement, that option is also available on ODEX. So this ODEX system, which we have developed from the SCMTR point of view, is available for entire trade, who is, whether he is registered with the SCMTR, whether he is not registered with the SCMTR. If he is not registered with the SCMTR, he can do the HBL submission to the shipping line, and then shipping line can send the manifestation details on their behalf. If they are registered and wish to generate their own CSN and wanted to file with the IceGate or the customs, that facility is also available on ODEX. That we will see on the in a detailed manner in the coming presentation. So as I said, the three stakeholders, which is very important in order to understand from our industry, the exporters, which is going to be a crucial part. The second one is the forwarders, NUSSC, LCL, which is categorized as the ANC. And the third one is the carrier or shipping line, which is categorized as the ASC, authorized shipping carrier or authorized shipping agents. Now, if you see from the exporter's point of view, what are the things which is very essential, important, or you can say a necessary from the SCMTR perspective? This is shipping bill number. All the details are with you. As see, again, I am repeating, we are considering what is required as of now, and after 2-3 slides, we will consider how is this going to happen. So that is what we will try to cover in this presentation. So what is required? Shipping bill number, date, exporter details. Now, if exporter, of course, the exporters will be from the Indian country, so they have to either have the IEC or PAN number or GSTN details with them, because it's a mandatory. In case of imports, if the entity is an Indian entity, then it is required, it is essential to have the IEC or PAN number. So this is something which is as per the SCMTR regulations. Now they also want this importer or notified party details, place of acceptance, port of loading, port of discharge, final place of delivery. So all these details which is available on this screen is required. Now, why this segregation on this screen is helpful for you to understand all these stakeholders, important stakeholders requirements in one single slides. We as ODEX have given you the provision to submit all these details, whether it is export or whether it is import, in a single screen, which I will show you later in the presentation. But these are certain details which you should aware. At least if you don't want to provide this functionality on your own, you can actually communicate to your custom broker to have familiar with these details or to be ready with these details, so that there should not be any confusion or any delay at the time of final submission. Okay. So I will just go ahead with the next slide. We will see one by one fields when I will show you that single screen where all the details have been captured. Now, SCMTA regulations from the import and export segments, I would like to explain very shortly with this diagrammatic representation. That suppose, as Ahluwalia sir was explaining in the initial discussion, that if the vessel is coming from the Dubai, as which is mentioned on the screen also, that coming from the Jebel Ali, I have kept the container number, which is, you can see on this diagrammatic representation of vessel, we have mentioned 4 container numbers into it. First one is the TKD, second one is the Mundra, third one is the Nhava Sheva, and fourth one is the Colombo. Okay, so say for example, if the first we will take it one containers, number 1 container, which is POD is Tughlakabad. So what these containers need to be adhered to as per the SCMTR regulation, that they should be file the SAM for this container. The vessel operator should file the sea arrival manifest for this container as soon as the vessel comes to the Mundra, on arrival of Mundra. They should file the sea departure manifest also as soon as the vessel sails from the Mundra location. But in that sea departure manifest, this Tughlakabad containers details will not be there. Only the number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6 container details will be there. So understand that every port location, we should understand the messages which is required from the vessel operator. Similarly, if you see the container number 3, which is actually scheduled for the Nhava Sheva, so when this container comes to the Mundra, they have to file the SAM. Okay, the vessel operator has to file the sea arrival manifest. Once the vessel sails from the Mundra, they have to mention this container details or the container identification number in the SDM also, in the sea departure manifest. And when this vessel comes at the Nhava Sheva, from Mundra to Nhava Sheva, they will have to again manage or link that cargo identification number while filing SAM for the Nhava Sheva location. So this is something which is very essential to understand how the messaging system will happen under the SCMTR regulation. With respect to the flow and timeline, correct, as I am saying that currently we are already focusing on what is required. How the data will transfer, this will come under latter part of the presentation. Now with respect to the import, okay, we will see from the flow of information or messages and timeline. So before arrival, as I was explaining in the previous slides also, that before arrival from last port of call, the message should be ready, which is these three messages has to be ready. One is the CSN, which is cargo summary notification. Now what is this cargo summary notification? Is the declaration of the house BL information by the consolidator or the forwarder, okay, on behalf of shipper. They has to file this message, the CSN. Okay, so if you as a shipper or the BCO is attending this webinar, you can pass on this message to your custom broker that CSN is very essential if they are going to do this activity on your behalf. So cargo summary notification is something which they need to transfer it to the next level of stakeholder. The next message is the sea arrival manifest, which we have already explained that this is the message which will be filed by the ASC, authorized shipping carrier. Okay, this is the final manifest. We can refer this, or we can this is equivalent, this is the IGM. The IGM is replaced with the word SAM. And the next one is the sea arrival amendment. Now please make a note that this sea arrival manifest, sea arrival amendment, SAA, can be filed without approval till filing of C entry inwards, which is you can see on the next segment or the next block of on the slide, which is on arrival. On arrival at Indian port of call, the vessel operator has to file the C entry inwards. So you have the amendment window open till the time C entry inwards gets filed. Okay, so this is something which you need to make a note of it. After the C entry inwards gets filed in the case of imports, there will be a penalty or the charges towards the amendment. So make a note of it. You have a window for amendment open till C entry inwards is filed. Similarly for exports, before departure from Indian port, this is the same message, the CSN, but instead of SAM, or you can say current EGM, export general manifest, the vessel operator now file the message called C departure manifest. And similarly for the C departure amendment, this can be filed till the C departure notification. In import it was C entry inwards, SEI was there, but in export the message is C departure notification. This is something which will be filed after departure from Indian port, but the amendment window will be open till the time vessel operator files the C departure notification. Once the C departure notification files, the exporter wants to amend the BL information, then there will be a penalty or the charges applicable to. So this timeline you need to understand. Now, what is the role of this entire segment, the role of CIM and ESIL from the exporter's point of view? Okay, will be there. See, as I said, this CIM facility will have to be filed just before the export cargo leaves from the factory or premises of the exporter. Now, this will not only help to track the cargo till it reaches to the port of export, but it will also help the customs to manage the information into the certain aspects or the certain format. Now CIM will be filed by the exporters for the e-sealed cargo. Now this facility, the customs inland manifest, will be available by the exporters for the e-sealed cargo. And you already know that this will not only cover the entire cargo details, but also the vehicle details, container details. Okay, so this is something which is very important. And the mandatory data which needs to be filed in CIM or the e-seal functionality are e-seal number, shipping bill number, container number, date and time of sealing, trailer or truck number, shipping bill date, IEC code, and destinations customs station for export. This is only we are explaining what is required. Now if you are okay, or if you are very well aware about what is required, then accordingly you can pass the messages to your brokers if you want to do this activity by them. This is something which is very essential to understand what is required. Now How this information will flow from either your system or your customs broker system to the next level of stakeholders, that is something which we have done from our end. So you don't need to worry that whatever explanation which we are now giving to you with respect to the SCMTR, how the data will flow from one stakeholder to another, that is something which we have already built. And we are really happy to share that news that we have successfully tested also the messages which we were explaining to you in the previous slides with the respective stakeholders, and the testing is still going on. So those who wants to do the testing, we will take a note at the end of the presentation. Now coming to the next slide, which is what are the important SCMTR changes with respect to the import documentation and the export documentation. So these are the changes which is required from the SCMTR point of view, that import, you need to make sure that deadline for choice of CFS, DPD and house bill will be shifted at last foreign port of call as per SCMT requirements. Okay, as I was explaining to the start of my presentation, that you need to make sure that all the information with your houses or your master should be reaches to the next level of stakeholders within the time, and the time is now changed. It should be, it should not be, they see the last foreign port of call deadline is for the vessel operator for filing the SAM, which is the final message. But then vessel operator should be requiring these informations prior to the this vessel sails from the foreign port of call. Okay, so they, it might be a T minus 72, T minus 48 hours, depending on to the different carriers. But this is something, the timeline which you need to make a note of it. IEC GST or PAN code is required if the entity is an Indian entity. If in case of export, the consignor details in which the IEC GST or PAN number is, either of them is the mandatory if the Indian entity is there. In case of import, the consignee details in case of import, it is mandatory. Now the next information which is crucial from the import perspective is HS code for each cargo will be required. This is another important changes. Now earlier what used to be happened that there was not a requirement from the HS code perspective, but now every items, if they have the HS, if they have the multiple items into the cargo, then every item should be mapped with the respective HS code. Okay, in case of LCL cargo or the container containing multiple cargo, HS code will be required to be updated in the loop. Loop means the chain of stakeholders. So these 3 or 4 parameters, especially choice of CFSs, deadline to submit house information to the next level of stakeholder, IC and the HS code, are important changes from the import manifestation point of view under SCMTR. From the export point of view, these are the 3 major changes which we foreseen from the current manifestation filing under SCMTR. Shipper will have to file the PCIN, which is a primary cargo identification number. And now what I was explaining in the previous slide, that customs have said that they will try, they will map the shipping bill number with the PCN number. Okay, so we will try to get the updated information and after this presentation gets over from the product team if they have. But this is something which you need to understand, that shipping bill number is equal to PCN number in case of exports. If multiple consolidated cargo in case of export is in container, then aggregation of multiple PCNs will be called as a CSN. So if we have a 5 houses, then against those 5 houses, it will be 1 CSN, which can be passed it on to the next stakeholder. Similarly, if your agent or consolidator or forwarder is required to file CSN before filing the manifest by the vessel operator, which is obvious thing to understand. Now coming to the next slide, this is a very important slide, especially from the flow perspective. Now till this slide, we were explaining you what is required, what are the changes, what is SCMTR, what are the messages required from the stakeholder. But from this slides onward, the next 2-3 slides, we will refer how this information is going to be passed from one stakeholder to another. Okay, so as I said, that freight forwarder CSN generation or the BCO who has given the authority to the agent to file this, house bill information or the SCMTR manifestation information on their behalf, they need to make sure that in OTEX we have mapped everything into single screen. The tagline of our OTEX system is itself that we discover simplicity. So we have simplified the entire data exchange or the communication programming for you on a single screen. So any layman or who is not very tech savvy from the systems point of view can also able to submit the information on ODEX and do the and follow the SCMTR regulation. What we have done, as soon as your agents or if you as a shipper log into the ODEX, we have given you the screen for CSN generation where you will enter the details of HBL against the MBL, and at the bottom of the screen we have provided generate CSN button for you, and this will automatically generate the data into the format which is called as a JSON format, which is a requirement of the ICE Gate. Okay, so you don't need to worry about whether my message will be as per the regulations or rules as per the set by the ICE Gate under SCMTR. Yes, that is something which we have taken care on your behalf. So you need to just file these details into respective fields, and at the end click a button, all the data will be generated into the required format. We have built that system intelligence for you. Okay, now once the CSN is generated, what next? Now there are two submissions which you need to do after generating the CSN. Now this is something which I am telling you, those who are registered and those who wish to generate the CSN and submit the CSN on their end. Now this ODEX is also available if you do not want to generate the CSN and just want to pass the house bill information to the shipping line. So that option is also available. Okay, but under SCMTR, if you want to generate CSN and submit CSN, generation is I have explained. Now submission is to two entity. One is to the customs and another one is to the liner. Okay, so once the CSN is generated, what as a as a forwarder or as a shipper, if you want to do it on your own, you need to upload the CSN file which is generated from the ODEX system after attaching the digital signature onto that file. Once you attach your digital signature into this file, you will get the acknowledgement from the customs, and that acknowledgement number which we call as a CSN number, that the CSN number you need to submit it to the shipping line. In the third segment, if you can see on the screen, that CSN submission to the shipping line. Now this CSN submission to the shipping line, this cargo summary notification number, which you will going to be submitted to the shipping line, this is something which we have mapped into the system itself. This is a very elite and premier feature of ODEX, where you don't need to send this CSN number to the liner on a manual email basis. Because as a trade or as a customer, you have multiple lines you are working with, so you don't need to worry about sending these details on emails. We on us as ODEX, we have provided this functionality to you on screen itself. Okay, so this is something from the flow point of view, how this data will generate and how this data will flow from one stakeholder to another stakeholder, so that everyone in the industry will be working with a very close and very smooth manner. Now I just wanted to show you the data which I was referring to, how we have mapped into the single screen. I hope my screen is visible. Rohit, if you can confirm my screen is visible.
Yes, yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, okay. So this is something which I wanted to, Rohit.
No. I cannot see the screen. I can only see a full page scmt.pdf. That's it.
Okay, wait, let me share.
Manisha, can you see?
No, Rohit, I can't see.
Yeah.
Okay,
Swapnil, you have to present it.
Yeah, okay. Is it now visible?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, it is now visible.
ODEX, okay. So members or team, I just wanted to take you through this single screen facility which I was referring to my previous slide. That, see, if you can see the MBL details onto the ODEX screen, in this we have mapped all the requirement fields as per the SCMTR, which is highlighted into the light green color or light blue color, where we will map all the MBL details along with the location, type of cargo, port of acceptance, everything. After that, against this MBL, if you have multiple HBLs, you have multiple HBLs, then we have provision to add the HBLs by clicking this add button. And in HBL, what are the details which is required? Which is the consignee details, notify party details, if you see in the bold letter, and the invoicing and instructions along with the marks and numbers and goods description. So these are all details which we have mapped against the MBL for every houses and which are linked with these things. If see, currently I'm showing you how this data will flow on a single screen, but I will come to that point that how the timeline will get reduced if we use the advanced features in Nodex to transfer this data from one system to another. That will come to the later part, but just try to understand the screen level details so that that part will be easier to understand. Now understand one thing, that in this invoicing and instruction, if you can see the invoice value and currency, which is they have mentioned, the IceGate or the customers have mentioned that it will be there, but it is not mandatory. So the confusion was there into the minds of exporters or the agents that whether I need to show the invoice value on my BL. The answer is no. You don't need to print the invoice value on BL. There is a provision, but it is not a mandatory. Okay. So you don't need, first of all, this is not going to be printed on BL, the invoice value. If they want, they can see this message or the information into the CSN or the files which will be generated from the system. Okay, but on BL, it is not going to become. So that confusion is now gone away. Now, if you see the item details where we have a provision to add items, if you have multiple items, we have provided HS code and CIN, everything for you. And similarly, the container details, shipping bill details, and at the end, the CSN for generation, we have mapped the sender ID, receiver ID, and the authorized person code. As soon as you put all this information and you click on save and submit, the data will get generated into the JSON format, which is the IceGate format. Okay. So this is something which the single screen facility, which I was referring to, we have developed and provided to the trade. Now to coming to the last slide where we have mapped, premium features from the SCMT perspective, that because we are already providing the services for current house bill submission modules for most of the major carriers, we have built cross-module intelligence so that as you know, I was referring to the previous slide that currently I am showing you to enter the data manually onto the field, but because those customers were already using our other modules, we have provided cross-module intelligence so that on the entering one field, suppose if you enter the BL number or container number, the rest of the data can be pulled from the other modules itself. So this cross-module intelligence for the faster entry of data has also been built. Okay, so this is very important. Now this how this data will flow either from the existing VGM Form 13 or DO modules with the pre-validation, so that you cannot have the data entry error, or you can reduce the data entry error at the time of submission of this data to the next level of stakeholder. The next one is the reduced data entry efforts or errors through integration. So we do also provide integration facility, as I was referring to that the container release order module, which we can discuss further for our few members. If we can build some intelligence and provide you for the association members. Currently, integrations with respect to the other modules for SCMTR file generation is also available, so that no or the very less manual data entry will be required. Okay. Third one is the digital signature. As I said, after generating the CSN file, you need to upload the you need to attach the digital signature to that CSN file and upload it onto the IceGate. We are coming soon with, we will soon going to launch this digital signature utility, which will be a USB based digital signature token to the trade members. So this is also this will also help you to manage entire thing onto the same screen or the same portal, you can say. And the last one is the reduce multiple email exchange. As I said, the CSN submission, not only CSN data submission not only to the customs, but also that number has to be submitted to the shipping line in order to file the final manifest, whether it is sea departure manifest or whether it is sea arrival manifest. So that CSN number, if you are generating on your own, then that has to be submitted to the respective vessel operator. Then only they will be able to file the SAM or SDM. Now that something, this message will be not exchanged on email, that will be triggered from the system itself on ODEX screen itself. So you don't need to manually exchange the emails with the multiple shipping lines you are dealing with. So all these things with respect to the SCMTR, what is or what are the messages or what are the stakeholders classifications are there, and how the data information from one stakeholder to another stakeholder will pass on, we have covered in this presentation. I hope we have covered and explained to the extent which we can explain it to you. If you have any doubts or queries, you can now ask. We can now go to Manisha ma'am for the further question and answer. Manisha ma'am, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Swapnil, for such a detailed presentation, enriching our members about the SCMTR regulations. Mr. Manish Kumar from CSLA, he has joined the session. Sir, we welcome you during the session. And now we would like to have Q&A session. Now the platform is open for all the participants. They can raise hand, we'll just unmute you and you can ask your query. So over to the participants and Team ODEX and Manish sir from CSLA for a Q&A session, please. Thank you.
Aluwalia sir and the entire flow team member, important update on the PCIN number. So now this is available on the iScape. So now you can check the export link also.
Manisha, there were a few questions which were common, which we have answered online, but if you could pick that up, maybe Manish can also elaborate on them if possible.
Okay, ma'am. I think most of them, they have been answered. So should I take them again here?
I think especially on the invoice value is a concern that all PCOs share. So do we need to mention the invoice value? Manish, if you could, for the general audience, just give a brief on how invoice value is being treated now. Our answer is, of course, you don't have to mention it, but it would be good to hear from the expert.
Thanks, madam. As of now, invoice value is optional for SCMT filing. They have made invoice value field as optional field. Before the issue was taken up by CSLA with the system and CBIC team. Earlier, they had made this field as mandatory field, but since invoice value has other consequences also, so they understood and finally agreed to keep this field optional.
Thank you, sir. I think we could see the raised hand, ma'am. Should we complete all these questions first, or should we hear to the participants who have raised their hands?
I leave it up to you, Manish. I think maybe raise hands first and then.
Yes. So, Rohit, if they can be unmuted. I would like to call upon Mr. Brijesh Kakadiya. Sir, you can raise a question here.
So Manisha, there is one person, I don't have the attendee name, but it's 3F2C89F, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that person is raising the hand from the starting. So I have unmuted that person. I have given the right to speak.
Okay.
So sir, you are free to, you're free to speak now. Can you hear us, sir?
So kindly introduce yourself also first, and then you can raise up your issue, sir, concern. I think there is a network.
Yeah, he's speaking now. Yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, very good afternoon, sir. This is Anish from Sitara Shipping. Actually, I have a doubt regarding SCMTR registration. We are trying to do the registration, but it's not happening. So that kind of means this regarding I need to ask one doubt. It's about address. It's not means it's not taking approval of our submission. It's actually I mentioned to IceGate registration team. They had told that check with the superintendent of customs regarding that approval. So that I need to ask how to.
So, sir, we have Mr. Manish and Mr. Kumar Gaurav, who are the expert in terms of registration. Especially Mr. Manish Kumar is the right person in terms of answering you. So, Manish, sir, over to you.
For SCMTR registration, there are three basic process. First of all, you have to upload all required documents on eSanchit portal. You have to note down IRN number and DN number of all the submitted documents. Then you have to fill SCMTR registration form, which are available on IceGate. After completing registration process, then the registration application goes to customs screen for their approval. So as you said, I believe you have already completed registration process, and now your registration is pending for the approval by the customs authority. If this is so, then you have to coordinate with customs authority and get your registration status approved by them.
Okay, sir. Okay.
I hope, sir, your query is answered, right?
That superintendent of custom, they told that they are not getting approval option in their screen. We have submitted 4 days back, and we wrote to the registration team regarding that it's pending to approve. So that you just contact to the local premise custom. Then I have contacted them. So they not means they don't have any option to approve our request. So now we have fully struck. Work is also struck. So what is the next procedure? What should we can do for this?
And which customs location is your port of registration where you are applying for the registration?
Nhava Sheva, sir. Nhava Sheva.
So Nhava Sheva, Mr. Raghuram is a joint commissioner who is nodal officer for SCMTR process. You can meet him. He is a very gentleman. He will assist you in resolving your issues.
Okay, sir. Okay.
I hope your query is answered, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, thank you for joining us. So,
sure.
Okay. So now,
we have Mr. Brijesh Kaktiya.
Sure. I am giving him a right to speak now.
Yeah. So please raise your query.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you all the dignitaries for this webinar. And my name is Brijesh, and I have a query. We do the one shipment in African countries, and the value of this shipment is $50,000 in the one container. But somehow buyer not accept the cargo, so we are sell this shipment to the another buyer in the amount of 30,000 USD. But at the time of the destination country's custom said that the value of the cargo is $50,000. So the new buyer must have to pay the duty on the $50,000 on this thing. So my question is, if the ODEX is transfer this data to the destination country, or is there any can the amend this thing in terms of the value?
ODEX will not be able to help you transfer the data to the destination country or amendment, because that is outside the scope of the services that we provide. We provide manifestation services right now in terms of SCMP in country. So, but if you could send us an email, we can probably try and connect you to people who might be able to help you.
Sure. Can you share your email address so that I can send?
Yes, I think Rohit will share that, or Manisha can share that.
Yes. So, sir,
I'll share with you.
Yeah. Manisha will share with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for connecting with us, sir.
Thank you, sir. We have a next question from Mr. Chandra Babu Yadav. Sir, we are just unmuting you. Please put up your query here.
So please go ahead.
He's still muted.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, Mr. Yadav.
Yeah, madam. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. Please put up your query here, sir.
Madam, this SCMTR registration, importers, exporters will register, or CHS only they can register, madam? Customs house agents only will register, or import exporters also will register, madam?
So we have Mr. Manish and Mr. Kumar to take care.
Yeah, if importer exporter is a self filer, I mean, if they fall under ANC category also, and they want to file their manifest on their own,
Okay.
then they will have to do their registration. Otherwise, normally a registration has to be done by freight forwarders, a shipping line, shipping agent, and other carriers
Okay,
only.
sir. And one more thing, sir. Recently, we have done one transaction from Tuticorin, sir, import transaction.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
What happened here? We have done first of all the transaction is IC sales. After that, what happened? That whoever is selling to us, that fellow is changed the documents IC sales to direct sale. Meantime, vessel arrived to Tuticorin port.
I didn't understand your query, sir. What exactly you want to raise here?
I want this shipping line charges and CFS charges. If it is more than consignment value, how to go for refund? How to go for this? Who will give the solution, sir?
Sir, shipping line charges, CFS charges is not SCMT issue. You will have to raise this issue separately.
Okay, okay.
Sir, actually, this issue has been faced by most of the exporters and members of trade.
Yes,
so,
sir.
and we have also represented it at various levels, and in the Ministry of Commerce and the Shipping Ministry also. So, we are in continuous touch with the government departments for this, and we'll further update you if any kind of notification with respect to charges are there. So, we know this issue, and we have raised also. So, at this point of time, if you have any other query related to SCMT regulations, you can please speak up.
No, madam. It is okay, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah. We have Mr. Brajendra Vishwakarma. Sir, please, we are just unmuting you. Please put up your query here.
Yes, please go ahead. Vishwakarma, sir, you can go ahead, please. Mr. Brajendra, you can, yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Sir, are we audible to you? Please put up your query. You are unmuted now. Mr. Vishwakarma, sir. I think there is some network glitch at his end. The next is Mr. Chandrababu Yadav again. Sir, please put up your query.
My query is over, madam.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Mr. Jitendra Sharma, sir, please put up your concern here. Sharma, sir. Hello, Sharma, sir, are we audible to you? Okay, Rohit, I think there is some network glitch at the participants end. We can take up the questions in Q&A chat box also.
Sure.
Yeah. So there is one couple of questions from. I'm taking it from the end. This question from Mr. Vinod Tige. What process is to be followed for high sea sales transactions? Do importer has to provide any other additional information also? This is the question from Mr. Vinod.
So Mr. Kumar, Mr. Manish.
Sir, as of today, customs have not given any clarity for high sea sale. However, in the previous meeting, this issue was discussed, and the clarification given by DG System team is they have to furnish final BL details before selling a vessel from last foreign port of call. Otherwise, then there will be amendment process. If there is change in BL or consignor details, then there will be a process of amendment that has to be carried out.
I hope the query is answered. Another query from Mr. Chokar Ayabu. Can we generate CSN file through ODEX without any payment? Over to CSLN team ODEX. Yeah.
Mr. Kumar,
Yeah.
Mr. Swapnil is there. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you can generate the CSN. So be in touch with us, and we will guide you how you can use ODEX system to generate the CSN number.
Okay, sir. I hope the query is answered. We have next query from a participant, and he's asking how safe is the data and what is the guarantee it will not be made public. There have been agencies in the market selling import-export data. Whether any kind of measures is being taken to take action against such money-making agencies. Sir, if you are there in the meeting, so can you ask over this platform also, because this was
Can you,
Rohit,
can you raise your hand, sir?
Yeah.
Whoever has raised this question, can you raise your hand so that we'll allow you to speak? So it's from Mr. Jitendra Sharma, right? So I'm just unmuting you, sir.
Okay.
And for this question, I have Lichi ma'am, who is the right person in terms of answering this. So Mr. Sharma, you are allowed to speak. You can unmute yourself and go ahead with the question.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, sir.
Okay, this is Jitendra, is my personal assistant. This is Anil Malhotra from TUF. What is happening is that we are facing a real, of course, when we go into this data, we also try to get information from the market, but all these data is getting uploaded on the server, going in the private server. What is the guarantee that all information remains safe? Because the people are selling these data in the market and giving important information about the overseas market of the exporters. And also the suppliers, overseas suppliers from whom we are sourcing with certain confidential information, everything is getting leaked into the market, and those people are making money by subscribing these information. So what is the action FIO or the respective agencies taking to make sure that importers or exporters identities, entities, information, their market information remains confidential? And of course, I don't say that ODEX will be really getting into the leakage of the information, but there are agencies how to take care of these kind of activities in the market.
Thank you, sir, for that confidence in ODEX. I can speak on behalf of ODEX. One of the things that we are very cognizant of is the criticality of the data that we carry. And as part of our governance standards, and also as a requirement of working with shipping lines that are global entities, we follow GDPR processes, which is the Global Data Protection Act that has been implemented by the European Union. And one of our assurances to our partners, to our global shipping lines, when we sign a contract, is that we will adhere to all GDPR norms. To give you a quick brief about what it entails that not just that ODEX will protect the privacy of all its customers, it also goes one step further, where we do not use this data for any kind of anonymous analytics. When I say that, it means that you will never see a publication from ODEX that says that, X percentage of, for example, is imported from India, or is exported from India, or imported into India, or so many containers of rice went out of India. You will never see such reports, because apart from guaranteeing that we do not compromise the data of our customer details, we also go one step further and say that we will also not compromise industry level data by providing any kind of anonymous analytics. To answer your question on how do you safeguard yourselves, I think one of the most critical ways to safeguard ourselves when we are online, and most paramount is to read the terms and conditions of any platform. That is very, very critical. And it should very clearly state that any sharing of data will be with explicit permission of yours. Because a lot of times we tend to click the I agree button and not read what that actually entails. So when we are on Google or when we are on Facebook or any such platform, we should be careful that when we click I agree, what are we agreeing to? Are we agreeing to share our private data with other stakeholders who might be on the platform? They could be advertisers, they could be data mining agencies, they could be reporting agencies, you know. So that is, I think, the most crucial thing when we use any platform, not just Odex, any platform. In terms of any action that FIO is taking, Ahluwalia sir, I'm not sure if you have raised this at concerned forums. I'm sure you have. So if you could also take that. And
I think question has been answered well. And as far as the custom data is concerned, to best of my knowledge, the country's custom departments are selling officially data. That is not a, somebody, hack the systems and give the data. The data is coming from the proper channel. So as far as the Odex is concerned, you have rightly said that everything is confidential here and it is not confidential.
Thank you, sir. We have next question from Mr. E.M. Arun. He would like to know what is the terminal role as terminal operator, and what are the file to exchange in the SCMTR. Yeah, Team Odex.
Yes, so Kumar, can you take this? Swapnil? Mr. Manish? Ma'am, you have to unmute yourself. Ma'am, you are on mute. Ma'am,
on the port terminal side, basically ATO files stakeholder for the port terminals.
Kumar, you might have to repeat because you are not audible.
Yes. Kumar, you have to repeat yourself, please.
Okay. So from the port terminal side, basically you have to register as an ATO, authorized terminal operator. Under this, you need to file the CLA, CLD, ATA, ATD, AM, and DM. So arrival manifest, departure manifest, and if there's an amendment, then amendment manifest is there. So these are the files as per the new SCMTR guidelines. From the terminal point of view, you have to file on the iSCAPE.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kumar Gaurav, sir, your bandwidth seems to be low. Can you please put off your video if it is possible, so that we don't have any voice disturbance over here?
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you, sir. The question is from Mr. Jitendra Sharma. Again, he's asking whether. Question is from Mr. Kaushal. He's asking whether it is mandatory to mention the PCI number in all the export documents.
So Mr. Manish and Mr. Kumar Gaurav, Mr. Swapnil would be taking this question.
PCI number is mandatory for SCMT filing. So shipping line, shipping agent may be asking you to update PCI number for SCMT filing only. It may be during shipping bill updation process. You may be asked to update the data, or through SI document.
Thank you. There is a question for Ahluwalia sir. Sir, Mr. Sivaram Tekaru, though it is not related to SCMT, He's asking whether container glut problem which is there, how many days the exporters have to face hardship of the exorbitant prices and all. So I think all these kinds of issues you can separately write us also. And as I have already mentioned, we have been raising these kind of issues to ministries and other platforms. So we'll surely take it up.
Manisha, I think I have already answered this question in my opening remarks.
Yes,
This
sir.
is all demand and supply situation and the high inventory in the high seas, jam on the ports. The things, as soon as the things will be clear, but it's not going to be happen in next few months.
Okay. Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Vishwakarma is asking, how can I map the PCI with shipping bill number? I think this question has already been taken. If not, then teams may answer.
Yes, Manish Kumar.
I think ODEX is in the process whereby customer can be given option to update PCIN number on the system itself, or shipping line shipping agent may ask customer to provide a PCIN number through SI documents.
Yeah. So, addition to that, the screen which is shown by the Swapnil, there is an option where you can mention the PCIN number at the time of filing about the details about the export.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Vishwanath. If he's asking if we can help us in getting e-sealing permission from whom and how.
Swapnil and Manish sir, Swapnil and Kumar.
Basically, you mean to say the e-seal, the companies, those who are providing this. So there are a few companies, those who are authorized by the government, who provide the e-seal number. So we can provide you the details. You can share your this email ID. You can share your this inquiry on our email, and then we will share the company details where you can get the e-seal number.
I hope this query has been resolved. I think we have completed the questions which have been asked in Q&A chat box, Q&A box. Any other question participant, they can raise their hand and we can take up, we can invite you and they can speak up their concern over this platform. They can raise up their hands.
So we have one more question. Sorry to cut you short, Manisha. There is one more question which came just now. It's like, in how many days e-seal permission get confirmed by customs? Kumar or Manish sir, either of the one.
There is no change in e-sealing process. The process will remain same in SCMT. Only thing is you have to file e-seal message with the customs. So as you are doing today, you have to arrange e-sealing permission even in SCMT regime also. You just have to file e-seal message with the customs.
Thank you, sir. Any other question from any of the participants? I think we have another message. Rohit, if you can please.
Yes. So we have this from Mr. Jitesh Sharma's ID only. What precaution we need to take specifically for Iran related shipments, and how do we do Iran shipment without showing the consignor details at the transshipment port? Kumar, Swapnil, or Manish?
Manish is the correct person.
Yes. Manish sir.
As per Indian customs regulation, for all import and export shipments, the stakeholders will have to declare consignor and consignee details. They have not given any relaxation for Iran shipment.
So I hope that answers the query. So Manisha, I think we are done with the questions.
Yes, yes,
And,
Rohit.
yeah, please continue.
Yeah, so thank you all the participants for putting up their queries. I think most of them have been resolved. If any of the participants they would like to ask any other questions they have not been able to answer at this platform, they can always write to us. They can write to the Odex also. They can write to me also. I'll just mention my email ID over the chat box, and they can write to me. I'll pass on your concern to the relevant authorities, to Team Odex as well as CSLA. So with this now, I would like to invite Liji ma'am for vote of thanks. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Manisha. Thank you, FIO, for organizing the wonderful webinar. Thank you, Ahluwalia sir, for joining us early morning from Canada. I hope you have a fruitful trip, and I look forward to more initiatives from FIO for the trade and the industry. And I also look for more avenues to collaborate with FIO. Thank you, Manish. I know you were able to join us on very, very short notice. Thank you so much for joining in and clearing a lot of doubts that the industry has. We hope to hold a refresher once again the moment SCMT goes live, because a lot more things will become clearer as we go into a live system. Currently, everything is under testing, and we recognize that the testing environment will not be similar to what will happen once we go live. Thank you to my teammates, Swapnil, Kumar, and Rohit, for the assistance that you have been providing, and for taking the initiative to get this organized along with you. Thank you to all the participants who have made it so interactive. We look forward to holding the session again soon, Manisha. And
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and my special thanks to Odex, to Rohit, for coordinating with me so well that we can have this session and we can have the queries and of all the participants addressed in such a nice manner. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So Manisha can close this session.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha, for conducting this webinar. Thank you very much, and thanks to all the panelists, Lizzie Madam, Kumar, Gaurav, Manishi. Thank you very much, and also thanks to all the participants.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, FIO and Odex team for arranging this webinar session.
Thank you.
Thanks.